Cecilia Timogwal said, but you're the one giving out envelopes. Now, the knee-jerk reaction from the president was that, for me, I'm the president. You are not. You can't afford it. You can imagine, it was spontaneous. And with hindsight, he said, but even me, as the president, I am finding it very heavy on me. So I'm not saying the president is corrupt. Now, turning to what the grandson here, who loves addressing himself in a more prestigious way, says, the human resource. At the beginning of the 8th term of office, President Museveni said that he had brought a cabinet of fishermen. You'd see them pointing to Chiembe to get their tailors, you know, sew some beautiful vitenge for them. Who said I'm complaining? Now, he set the marking scheme, and we are marking him by that guide. And let me be very, very honest, I think brutally honest. I don't like talking about individuals in my practice. In the last 15 years, anyone who has seen me talk, I avoid talking about individuals. And this is the first time I'm going to talk about my very own friend. If you have the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda outgoing, go to the deputies, experienced, including a former Speaker of Parliament. The other deputies, General Moses Ali. Andrew Mwenda has talked about Honorable Mwebesa of Trade. At some point we had the Honorable Magode Ikuya. The other minister was the Honorable, the gentleman from Chisoro? Mzee Mateke. Then when you go to the young ones, you're bringing in Andutu. Clearly, those could not deliver us if that was his vision. But let's even talk about the president. The president is a very qualified person for the presidency in terms of experience, in terms of strategy and brain. But look at age. There is a limit that is brought by age. It's natural. I am praying every day to get to that age. I am not praying to God to give me that age for purposes of heading even the companies that I have established. Because people learn how to take advantage of you. People know when you're at your weakest, when you did not wake up well. And let's be brutally honest, because this is about our country. I hold General Museveni in very high esteem because of what he has been able to achieve for himself, but I'm also told for the country. Namere.
Yes.
Namere has told me.
I'm glad you were listening.
in the commercial break.
Really?
Oh, you've told me before. Okay, so but the point is here. You may have very good ideas for the country, but once you have lost the steam to put those ideas into practice, forget it's a lost dream. That's point number one. Let's go to the other anti-corruption agencies which Andrew has talked about, including my very own where I'm exiting Parliament. I've chaired PAC. You know, when people speak from outside, they do not speak from a point of knowledge, or they get locked up in the past, which I've also had. I have chaired PAC for 5 years. And let me tell you where corruption is, and is very, very intricate. And here is where I agree with Andrew.
And you also tell us what you did about it. Don't forget that.
Oh, but what I've done about it, everybody who has been following has been following. I think I have produced the biggest number of reports in the life of PAC. And Professor Balunyo has appeared before me. Anyone who has appeared before me, I have never, ever asked anyone to send an envelope before you appear before me. No, I am on record. But the point is here. Justin Namere is the head procurement, follows all the procedures. And when people want money, I mean, it is negotiated. They will go and get their money, but having followed the procedures. There is no way you're going to catch them. There is no way, I repeat, there is no way you're going to catch them. But there have also been other glaring cases where, like somebody, I think I dealt with the question of where an ambulance was lost in Arua from a hospital, and it disappeared. All the police could say was, it is somewhere in Congo. Why haven't you recovered it? You cannot cross there and get it. But there must be somebody who actually led to the ambulance disappear from the hospital. An ambulance is not a cup like this. It's not a car key. It disappears. I surrendered the head to the police. The police officers came and said, but you already has a case with us. We have hit a dead end. We investigated KCC. We found that there is a way bridge that disappeared from Chitezi. Chitezi here. And you're talking about a way bridge. You're not talking about a safety pin. They said it disappeared to Rwanda. But when did it disappear? In 2012 or 14.
And this is 2025 that you
And we're here in 2025 looking for the way bridge. How did it cross the border? You see, Justin Namere does not want to talk about President Museveni when it comes to asking questions. She wants us to talk about General Museveni when we are talking about praises.
Who said?
I am a student of history.
I was the one asking him questions in Chankwanzi.
Well, unfortunately, I did not attend Chankwanzi.
You should have come.
Tell him next time to nationalize Chankwanzi so that it is for all of us. Then the question is, somebody said in the history of Austria that when Metternich sneezes, everyone would catch a cold. As Andrew summarized it, when it comes to protecting and preserving power, for whatever justification Andrew gave, he's there, he's hands-on. I agree that he cannot police everybody. That's why we allowed him to have a cabinet of 80 ministers. But we have also discussed the quality of cabinet. I have raised this question of quality of ministers on the floor of Parliament at the biggest risk of being misunderstood by my colleagues. And I think I remember the Honorable Museveni putting me to order, because I said, this cabinet of ours, maybe by our standards it's okay. And then Echeru was saying, how can you say by our standards then it's okay? You are insinuating something. I said, what is that? So the speaker asked him whether he wanted me to apply Chinese standards. You know, from those people again, you go down to the civil servants. You find some people who simply find themselves commissioners. People like me who have lost elections, you find the next day is appointed, is placed somewhere. They do not have the qualifications to run an office of that magnitude, of that nature. When I sit there as a member of parliament, I expect to find a report prepared by a civil servant. That civil servant should guide me, should first guide me. Because you see, what is our level of education? Our qualification is senior 6, or its equivalent. Sometimes even the equivalent is not there, but we have managed to smuggle ourselves into that house. Now, coming to the mutilated anti-corruption system, I agree with Andrew Mwenda. You have the police. It has the primary duty of detecting and preventing crime. You have IGG. Then you bring anti-corruption. This anti-corruption thing in State House is called what?
State House anti-corruption.
That one. It is amorphous. It is hanging. It is not anchored anywhere in the civil or public service.
But it's very effective. It's
Wait,
doing
wait.
some work.
I'm not saying no, but it's not anchored anywhere. When they go to do their work, they end up again feeding into the other existing structures. So you find we are spending a lot. The police will tell you, for us, we are not facilitated to do our work. People take matters to police, and the police say, can you give us fuel to come and investigate your case? There is somebody who was strangled by another person. She took the matter to police. She almost died. Then the police say, okay, at midday the suspect was there. By 6, the suspect had been let free. The suspect disappears. Then they tell the victim, can you look for him? Okay, and tell him to come. You know, somebody almost killed me. And when you ask them, they tell you, but you don't even have the fuel to look for the man. We gave bond. If we could just have one, train and facilitate that person. And of course, do oversight over that person, over that agency. But now you have to do oversight over the IGG, oversight over anti-corruption, oversight over police, oversight over CMI, oversight, now somebody is suggesting Parliament. The other day, General Muhoozi wanted to come and arrest all of us, not for corruption this time, but for summoning him to explain certain things. That is now corruption. But I also agree with the panelists that are saying it starts with us.
Sure.
Because
Thank you.
I asked colleagues when we were starting our sessions in Parliament, when I was chairing PAC, said, if you ask an accounting officer for money and you want to hold that person accountable, first you have disabled yourself. The second thing, if he has not stolen money, why would he give you money? The third thing is, where do you want him to get that money from? Because we are the ones that give them money to go and do our work. Now, when you ask them for money, did you budget for that when you are giving them money? So I agree that it starts with us. One day, I almost arrested somebody in my former constituency. You don't want me to say I'm a former MP. I'm a former MP because now I have been asked to pack my bags, and I packed my bags out of the government office. I was driving behind somebody. He threw a Fanta bottle out of his car window. So what I did, I overtook and parked in front of him and said, get out, go and pick it. Later I discovered that he's a native of a neighboring country. I asked him, can you do the same thing in your country? He said, I'm sorry, in my country I can't do it. Okay. But the person who was driving him was a Ugandan. He got out of his car to confront me. Can you imagine? The national gets out of the car he was driving to confront me because I've asked his boss to go and pick that bottle. The boss says, in my country, yes, we cannot do it. So it starts and ends with us.
Okay.
Honorable Betty Kamya made a comment which people criticized, and I thought they did not understand the context. She said, look here, I have a government car. It's a guzzler. I will always have fuel. If it breaks down, you repair it. I don't repair it. If I fall sick, I will be airlifted. Okay? You will pay. Corruption will not affect me. It will affect you. That's what she said. And I listened carefully. I understood her and said, now Ugandans must get this right. This corruption, you see, is not going to affect Museveni. Maybe we're going to talk about him and that's all. It will be affecting us. When he needs medicine, he can order for it. If not, evacuate himself or a member of his family. When he needs education for his grandchildren, I don't know if he has school-going children, he will take them to any school anywhere in the world. I cannot afford it. When we're talking about roads, one day I think he got injured in a car because of overdriving and overspeeding on a hump. He abolished humps on all highways just because of his back.
That's not, that information needs verification.
You know, you have not
honestly.
been around enough.
Okay.
You just need to listen, to use your ears and listen.
That's
to
why
me.
I'm asking for verification.
I'm
listening
wait,
very well.
I did ask an accounting officer because I wanted humps along my road in Budo. And they said there is a presidential directive abolishing all. Indeed, even those that were there. Go to Yobukurula Kadugala. What happened to those humps? They were removed because that's where he was injured from.
We have humps in Kadugala,
No,
but
no,
not in the corner.
they were flattened. I was using that road. You did not have a car then.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't driving then. I wasn't probably the age of driving.
No, you were the age, but you didn't have a car.
How
The
did
point-
you know?
I have known you for as long as you have lived.
Lastly,
You've been
Honorable
following.
Ssegona.
Yes, but the point I am making, yes, away from criticizing President Museveni, let's get back to ourselves. Number two, those that implement decisions, those that implement budget, should first identify, and this is what I meant by it, do a pause and do planning. And this has nothing to do with the National Planning Authority. National Planning Authority operates at a broader macro level. But these micro planners and implementers must get the equation right. You know, I visited a police station. We visited as a committee of parliament. And the DPC told us he was getting about 300,000 per month for fuel for his patrol, for a whole district. At that time, it was the district of Mbarara. Before, I think they had chopped off a few. But just imagine, even if it's a tiny district of the Ikutambala, what can 300,000 do for a law enforcer?
Thank you.